Like, or is that like passed by now? Like the feeling that.
I'd like to ask for a motion to come out of executive session. Mr. Crabtree, Mrs. Kramer, second, all in favor? Okay, so moved. At this time,
Or is that like passed by?
at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to elect the president of the board. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to get a motion from me to elect Paul Fafalia to president.
Okay, and do I have a second? Okay, I have a second from Mrs. Kramer. All in favor? Okay, approved. Okay, and so at this point, we will switch gears.
Okay, thank you very much for trusting me once again. And with that, I will ask for a motion to elect the vice president of the board.
I would like to make a motion to elect Michael Marizio as Vice President of the Board of Education.
Okay, could I get a second on that? Second from Ms. Segru. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. And we need to have the oath administered. You come here, we come there. Or we just sign it? Read it. Want me to stand up? Done this before. We do it together? Sure. Okay, here we go. I, Michael Marizio, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the board president of the Board of Education of the North Syracuse Central School District to the best of my ability. Okay, thank you. Let's need your signing that right here. Guess we've done that before, but that's kind of awkward. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll continue with the reorganizational meeting for the annual organizational meeting. With that, we need a motion to appoint the Board of Education Audit Committee. If you look at that, the Audit Committee proposed as the president and the vice president of the board, as well as Michael Schuzda, who has served for us as a community member on that audit committee. If I get a motion for that, motion from Dr. Kramer, second from Mr. Moody Wuzik. Is there discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, and that item is carried. Right, for appointment of Board of Education officers, we have a number 5, we have 26 different items. I'd like to first get a motion, if we're willing to group those together. A second, and then I wanted to talk about a couple of motions from Mr. Moody Wuzik, a second from Mr. Ludden. Okay, so we have all those together. These are, again, appointments we do every year. We're required to do by law, like the district clerk, the treasurer and such. I just had a question about, we have a vacancy at number 8, which is the compliance officer. Is that something we would be filling? We have to act on another board meeting? Okay. And I just noticed just before, because we have a couple other vacancies, we have a couple building principals that still need appointment. And another administrative piece. So these will come to the board separately. I just want to make sure of that. Okay, all right. Are there any other questions? These items are before us. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Those are carried. We have designations, establishment of the board meetings, the official bank depositories, and the official newspaper. That's items 6, 1, 2, and 3. If I get a motion, we can place those together. Motion from Ms. Segru, second from Mr. Marizio. Those are before us. Is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And those items are carried. And number 7, we have again 9 items having to do with authorizations. Could I get a motion to place those together? Motion from Mr. Moody Wuzik, second from Dr. Kramer. Any discussion on those or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, thank you. Those are carried. And the readoption of board policies number 8. Motion from Mr. Crabtree, second from Dr. Kramer. Those are before us. That's just readopting the entire policy manual, which we do annually. Any questions or discussions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstention. That is carried. Okay, motion to adjourn the organizational meeting. Motion from Mr. Woody Woosick, second from Mr. Marizio. Any discussion, any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That meeting is adjourned. You need to just give me a moment to figure out how to move to another meeting. Okay. All right, it's 6:07. I will call the meeting of the July 10th North Syracuse Central School District Board of Education to order. We have done the Pledge of Allegiance to start off the organizational meeting. So I'm going to move to our moment of silence, if I can. And we have a moment of silence for the following. Gerald Wilson, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Patrick Lamb, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Richard Hillock, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District, and Bruce Lipke, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I believe we have a presentation for the 21st Century Community Learning Centers and some information on the summer program and how we did in the school year, correct? Okay, great. Thank you.
You can share it. It's easier that way around.
Good afternoon, everyone, board members and superintendent and the public. My name is Chow Lee. I'm the director of the 21st Century Grant and the Rising Rockstars program.
Hi, I'm Christopher Lay. I'm the Associate Superintendent. I have the privilege of watching this program evolve throughout the last year. This time last year, we were actively interviewing for a program supervisor, and we're really excited to share an update of the progress we've made over the last 12 months as part of this program and how it served our Rocks community.
All right. First, I'll start off with just a refresher about what the 21st Century Grant is. So we got this grant just last July to provide extended learning programs and summer programs to our students in Roxbury Road Elementary and Middle School. So we're providing before school and after school and summer programs to develop the academic and social skills of our students, and also providing some family events for the adults and their students. So how we ended the first year. So our program started in November and it ended in June. So we had 480 students register. But what counts in terms of what the New York State Ed cares about is number of students that have at least 15 hours of program. So we reached 61% towards our goal. We wrote in our grant proposal that we would have 567 students, have at least 15 hours. And we had 349 folks. And of that group, 311 of them had 30 or more hours. So we've had some really consistent attendance. If you go to the next slide, please. So where we had the most consistent attendance is at the elementary school. So we had a lot of regular students that would come every morning and after school. So we got to 83% of our target goal of 226 students. Next slide. At the middle school, it's a little tougher to get teenagers to stay after school because they have a lot of different options. So we had 160 students that were pretty regular that it came to our program pretty much every day of the week, 5 days a week, I mean. So this summer, our summer program just started at 11:30 this morning and ended at 2:30. And so far we had a little over 200 kids register for the program. And the themes at the middle school, we're going to do Summer Olympics. And at the elementary school, each week We have different themes. So this first week is getting to know you. The next week will be all around the world. The third week is all about things related to water. And the fourth week, the final week, they'll get to learn everything about their community. And we have 23 staff hired. And during the school year, we offered 40 different activities. We had 62 folks hired through our partnership with the YMCA and also district staff and our partners with CCSI and Contact Community Services. So in thinking about, we're already planning for next year because this year, year 2 of the grant, the state will really count our attendance and we get reimbursed for our funding based on the number of kids that we get. So we have to get 567 students to keep the funding stream that we have. And so the improvements we're trying to make is being a lot more intentional about designing the kind of activities that we think the students want, and also that really corresponds well with what they're learning during the school day. We're going to be a lot more focused in terms of the kind of staff that we're going to hire and what we want them to deliver in terms of the activities. And also constant monitoring of our attendance is related to our budget. Because this first year, we were able to provide, programming for about, I'd say like 28 weeks or so. And we pretty much used a lot of the money. But this year, we're adding 4 weeks of summer program and doing a full 32 weeks of the school year program. So we just have to be more thoughtful about how we use the grant funds. And we're also putting more emphasis on family engagement for the upcoming year and just doing a lot more joint programming between Roxelle and Rox Middle. There's a lot of great stuff that already happens, but it'd be great just to coordinate it more because, we have families with kids at both places. So it'd be nice for them just to come to one thing. So here I just wanted to put up some quotes, cards and notes that I got from parents. And I'd say that I feel really good in my team of Katie O'Hara, who's the site coordinator at the elementary school, and Tim Carter, who's a site coordinator at the middle school, and Sue Popoff, who is our YMCA coordinator. This is the core admin team. And, we've worked really hard to provide really a great place for the students to really connect. And we know that, the Surgeon General says that, isolation and loneliness is a huge public health, epidemic. And so, we all feel really good about having Rising Rock Stars at Roxelle and Rox Middle to really provide a place for the kids to really connect face to face, learn new things, make new friends, meet some really great adults. And I can't tell you how many parents just are so appreciative that we're offering, basically free childcare that's really fun and interesting and educational for their kids so that they get to work or they get to do errands or they just get to, have a little break for themselves as adults. But really, I really feel like this program is about, supporting, our parents to work. So, and this next slide, is the video attached? Oh, okay. But I wanted to show you a great video. We had at the end of May, we had 2 showcases, one at the elementary school and one at the middle school. And one of the highlights was the students at the middle school got to learn African dance and drumming, and they put together a really fabulous performance. And does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple comments and a quick question.
Sure.
First off, thank you for everything. I was so excited when you came last year and told us about this, and I've been waiting for this update. I go everywhere I go, I brag about this. If I meet anybody from Rox, I always tell them about this. So thank you so much. My question for you is, did you notice any challenges or maybe bumps in the road you came across this year, and maybe any solutions that you came?
Yes. So it was challenging to bring in a new program. The space at Roxelle, especially in Rox Middle, it's pretty tight. So we're bringing a whole new group of staff to come in and just, different processes. So there are challenges around kind of space and cultural fit and just, what people are doing. And it's a new program. So we're all like July 5th was my 1 year anniversary, and the other site coordinators, they got hired in like, September or October, and the program started in November. So, there were bumps in the road in that way, but we've really figured out a process, and just working relationships and just regular standing meetings with the principal and other staff and informing them how it's going. And just the start of today for the summer program, totally different from the November 1st when we kicked off the program last fall. So I'm.
Yeah, I think the challenges are, it's unique in having this program. It's a valuable asset to our school community. But it is for our staff that work it, it's 2 or 3 more hours at the end of the day. We have staff from the Y who've been wonderful, and I think we've kind of found our way with what the sweet spot is in terms of delivering instruction, curriculum, enrichment, keeping kids moving at the end of the day. Because for some kids, this is a very long day as well, to be there till 5:30. When they've been there since 8:30 or 9, because part of this program that wasn't highlighted tonight, there's also a breakfast component where kids could come early and do an AM program, then have a full day of school, and then do potentially the PM program if families need that service and support. So some of the challenges that we've added another layer of support, which is a wonderful thing, but it comes with unique issues regarding space, regarding staffing. And what's really neat, what I think is something that, and Chow probably wouldn't say this, but is she's really found some wonderful staff, and she's managed to retain folks. Oftentimes with after-school programs, you have a revolving door of folks coming and going, but we really seem to have a commitment from our staff. We have a commitment for people who are building relationships with families, with students, and we're really proud of that. And that's why I really have confidence that this program is here to stay.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm going to start beating you to the comments this time. You're going to have somebody that you're going to have to fight with. I wanted to say thank you because this is a fantastic presentation. This is a great program. I think that as many of the folks here know, and we all know, there's a lot of mental health crises that are going on all around, and this is a great way to do it. But I also want to say thank you to you and to all the staff, because I know that after 8 hours in a classroom, the last thing you want to do sometimes is another 3 hours with kids. So I mean, I give you a lot of credit for going through those really long days, and I know that the parents and the children both appreciate it a lot. So thanks.
Questions. I love this program, but I have some concerns, okay? And first of all, this summer program is different, am I correct, than our summer school that we have in that building, am I correct?
That's correct.
So there's enough room for this program?
Yes, so
space, and-
the summer learning program is from 9 till 11:30, and Rising Rock Stars is from 11:30 to 2:30. So we just overlap just a little. So we have kids that are staying for Rising Rock Stars after they do summer school. They get lunch, and then they stay until 2:30. And then we also have kids that are just coming for Rising Rock Stars. So we pick them up anywhere from like 10:30.
That answered my question. Okay,
Uh,
so it's two different time periods, because I know we have a large staff there in the morning. How does the attendance affect the grant? I'm very concerned about the middle school, that you're less than 50% toward the target. What does the people that give us the grant say about that?
So
'Cause I don't want to lose this program.
yeah, we don't want to lose it either. So what we're gonna do for next year is we're gonna adjust the performance targets. So originally, at the middle school, we said we get 341 students. So we're gonna subtract 50 students and add them to the elementary school, because, and there's been a good reputation, I'd say, at both schools, but, there's like a clique of Rising Rock Stars kids at the middle school, and they keep telling their friends. And we've invited the new incoming 5th graders from the various elementary schools that are feeding into Rocks Middle. And we have tons of 5th graders. And so they get introduced to Roxborough Middle School and also Rising Rock Stars. So we're pretty confident that, we're going to be able to hit the attendance targets. And we're a lot more we're going to be a lot more strategic about like how we do the programming and offering A days and B days of enrichment activities. So the kids aren't doing the same things 5 days a week. And they get, 2 different varieties of activities within a week. And so we have told the staff, well, we're going to tell the staff for the school year that their hours will be based on attendance. So, we're going to plan for having, you know, so last year, the max that we had at the middle school was like, say, 80 students that came in one day. So we have to have a ratio of what, 12 to 1. So we're going to hire for that amount. But if we get more, we'll be able to add more staff. We have less students and we're going to reduce people's hours, and they know that. So that, because that's where most of the cost is from staffing. And also our partners at the YMCA also know, because they provide half of the instructors, if not more.
Tell us a little bit about family engagement. Just a few things that you do to engage the families.
So I'll talk about, so just in May, we had a painting, popcorn, and parenting night. So our site coordinator, Katie O'Hara, did some painting. We invited our a family specialist from Contact to, you know, they learned a little painting, and then they gave a little presentation about parenting tips. And, you know, for this coming year, we've gathered together a group of basically the family engagement specialists, the staff, you know, at both schools are really actively involved in organizing families, parents from the PTG and the PTO, as well as parents from the Rising Rock Stars Advisory. So we've met a few times, and we're going to come up with some kind of a plan for the next 4 years. And we also recruited some former PTO, PTT parents, alumni, to really get involved. And there's really a lot of excitement about doing a joint event. And on August 30th, we're going to do a joint Rocks campus back to school barbecue / locker night. So the kindergartners, all the elementary school kids get to come a little before to meet their teachers, and same at the middle school. And we're going to have a fun barbecue from 4 to 6.
Thank you for what you do. And as Josh said, all the staff that put time in. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, they clean up. We're at the comments from the audience portion of the board meeting. So of course, the Board of Education meetings, they are public, and the public's welcome to attend and observe. Here in North Syracuse, we do set aside 30 minutes to hear from the public at our regular meetings, because we're interested in hearing comments from our community. We don't engage in conversation, as I think everybody knows by now, or answer questions during this portion of the meeting, but we will listen. I'd always encourage you, please, to leave in writing with our board clerk here your comments, or send them later via email. They'll all be distributed to the board. Also, just say issues involving any particular student or employee are not permissible topics during the meeting. Any topics like that should be addressed directly to the superintendent of the schools during regular business hours. We do one speaker at a time, 3 minutes each. I think most people know that now. And you just address your remarks here to the board. So we're going to begin. I see we have 7 now. Okay. So we have 7, and the board clerk runs a timer over there for 3 minutes. If you hear that, please wrap it up, and I'll tap the gavel, but please respect those 3 minutes. And again, if you don't have enough time, make sure you get comments to us in writing. And we'll start with Mr. Nick Edwards. Yep, thank you. Yep.
All right. So my address isn't just for the board, but all the taxpayers in our district. I am proud to say I support the LGBTQIA plus community and their rights, but I also support human rights and women's rights. And that's why so many are pushing back against the new gender policy. Female athletics is a good start. A woman with a penis has other key athletic advantages. According to the Cato Institute, people who enter into puberty as a male have larger hearts, more hemoglobin, leaner body mass, and a larger lung capacity. This translates to a 10 to 12% performance advantage in running and swimming, and 20% advantage in jumping. We should also look at the real world evidence. The 1998 tennis matches between the 203rd ranked male Karsten Braasch and the Williams sisters, both tennis superstars, fell to their opponent. And Leah Thomas, who as a male ranked 65th and 554th, but a year later competed as a female and ranked 1st and 5th in the same categories. There are hundreds of examples. Even police forces and military change standards for biological women. The policy overlooking the facts is unfair to the girls and women who are now disadvantaged by millions of years of evolution and biology. To touch on the locker rooms and other places a penis shouldn't be, it's not hateful or anti-trans to believe that nefarious actors can and will take advantage of such policies. It has happened across the country already, including right here in Onondaga County. What is most alarming about the current policy is how the board has allowed the teachers union to control their actions. This is why there is a new push, not just to amend the gender policy, but to afford rights to all, a push for transparency. The union has blocked parents out of schools and turned the board into a hive mind to enact its divisive and dangerous policies, all the while coming to taxpayers begging for more. You claim poverty and cry about children's safety and education, but offer neither of them successfully. Teachers are admittedly afraid to speak out. Parents are kept away from the classroom and the taxpayers are getting hosed so you can do the bidding of the teachers union. This is where the anger and rage come from. You beg for money and then forget who gave it to you. At the last meeting, it was asked of this board to send out the new gender policy. We get countless emails and texts. Come support this, vote for that. Did someone at the office forget to send out this policy for everybody to make a decision on? Okay, and to address one last thing from the last meeting, the school social workers' comments filled with lies and mistruths. And I don't think she's qualified to be a social worker at the school. She's more of an activist. That is unfair to the parents and unfair to students that look to her for guidance when she's just actively pushing them in the direction they need to be. Some boys are feminine. I was one of them. Thank God she wasn't my social worker because I wouldn't be who I am today. Some girls are masculine. It's okay. It's okay to be a tomboy. If you grow up and then decide to change, I will be the first one to give you the support. Everybody deserves to be safe. And we've come a long way from a room of one's own for the women to everybody shares a room. I trust the LGBTQ community. I don't trust nefarious people that will use the policy you folks put in place
Thank you.
to do bad things.
Thank you. Hey. Alexandria Murphy.
Push this button. Oh, it's on. Okay. I am a school nurse in the district. I am also a parent and taxpayer in this district, and being a mother and protecting my children will always come first. So if I get backlash from the district for this, then so be it. What I have seen in this district in the past year and a half is absolutely disgusts me, and I am terrified to continue to let my children come to this district. Kids are having sex in the middle school bathrooms. There are students who are sexually assaulting other students, and there are students who are handing out vapes. And now you have biological males going to female restrooms and playing on female sport teams. I have had students change their name and gender 7 times. My question is, where does this end? When are the adults in the room going to wake up and start being adults? By the time my daughter is in high school, there will be no more female sports teams. That will be gone. Is that what you all want? Title IX was made to protect women's rights, and now it is being used against females. What was the point of fighting for that? California just passed a state law stating if you don't affirm your child's gender identity, they will take away your child from you. And it is deemed child abuse. And I guarantee New York State will be next. To people last week, to the last board meeting that said we can send our kids to any school that reflects our views, you're absolutely correct. I urge every taxpayer who disagrees with this policy to join together, and we will petition to pass a school choice law that states we can use our taxes to send our children to any school we want. Public schools are supposed to be for all students, like you all preach, but you're completely disrespecting families' beliefs and evidence-based science. Explain to me how that is for all students. And to those who say there's nothing to worry about, in Loudoun County, Virginia, a female student was assaulted in the bathroom by a student who is gender fluid. They moved the student to another school where he again assaulted another female. In Oklahoma, a transgender student was charged with assaulting multiple females in the bathroom at a high school. A 5-year-old female was sexually assaulted by a transgender student in the bathroom at a Georgia school district. In New Mexico, a 12-year-old female was assaulted by a transgender student in the school bathroom. And it goes on and on the list. Do these girls' lives not matter to you when you say trans lives matter? To those who say transitioning decreases suicide risk, I would actually love to see that evidence. The only people saying that in healthcare are the ones who are promoting or who are profiting off these experiments, because this is completely experimental. And you are all celebrating the mutilation of children who will be pharma patients for life, which will only increase their suicide risk due to all their physical ailments from hormones and surgeries. Hormones alone lead to osteoporosis, infertility, and risk of cancer. Many of these children are coming out and detransitioning and will never go back to who they were born as and are left with mutilated bodies. Our healthcare system and school system is completely broken. We need to change these systems, not the children. We need to fight for our children. And if our country continues down this path of chaos, I can guarantee you that society will continue to crumble.
Thank you. Okay, Jessica Soulier.
If enough of the silent majority speak up respectfully, they will have no choice but to listen to us. Let me be crystal clear. No one has ever said someone's life did not matter. These are children, minors, dependents, and every single one of their lives matter. There is no fill in the blank, lives matter. It's about all children, leaving none excluded. Your own board members have gone against your policy 2160, philosophy B and D, in stating trans lives matters. Your policy also states there are penalties for such actions in section 3D, and I would expect our district to take this seriously and to take action in that regard. It is not appropriate for us to single out a group that what gives the board the right to do the same. Why, in a subject that you claim has high suicide rate, depression rates alarmingly increasing, and a long-term negative psychological effects, would parents and legal guardians not be part of the process? And where is the proper representation for all groups? Have you considered everyone's safety? How about young girls with body image issues, or a girl that's just starting to menstruate and is working through all that comes with that? Where is her right and dignity to privacy? Or a girl who's been sexually assaulted in her past and the thought of sharing these private spaces scares her. Where is her protection? A young girl who is taught at home it's not proper or appropriate to undress or pull her pants down with the opposite sex present. How about young males who are finally feeling comfortable using a urinal? The boy who was taught that it's not okay to take his penis out with females present. Or a boy in the bathroom with his pants down, already in a vulnerable position, and already fragile, questioning or confused student comes in and false allegations are thrown out. Who is safe? What about a trans or questioning or gender fluid student that is now behind doors with a homophobe, or a person who's not comfortable with this mix and an argument or more starts? Who is safeguarded? The gender fluid children that change what sex they identify multiple times a day, who is protected? Or a child that simply says one thing and does another just to abuse a policy and push the limits, as there are none specified. Your policy lacks boundaries, safe net, standard, and rules, which statistically speaking, children thrive in. Children thrive in knowing what's expected, where the lines are drawn, and their boundaries. They thrive knowing there is a chain of authority and that they are protected. This policy is not all inclusive. It has made a whole other group to be made either to conform, seek other bathroom and changing areas, to hold their urine, or to simply not change after participating in gym. Is this really the only option? Surely a board of such elite volunteers and intelligent members can think of a better solution that's truly safe. Your policy addresses sports. This is a women's rights issue. Women fought to have separate competitive teams. Boys and men are built physically different. They are stronger, faster, and can endure more and longer than females. Newsflash, biological males will win. Parents, your girls that are in sports, that have been training since they were little, pay attention, speak up. My lasting questions, are you saying that biological males that identify as females will use a toilet? There is a difference. They have a penis. Realistically speaking, it is not ideal to sit on a toilet to urinate. If you're a boy, how does that make them feel dignified? Are we installing urinals in all the female bathrooms so every girl could possibly see a penis? Where in your student handbook is this amended? Let's be preventative and not reactive. Thank you.
Okay. Jesse Soulier.
My name is Jesse Sulier. I'm a ninth grade student at the junior high. If you talk to any of my teachers, they would say I socialize too much during class and I'm too talkative at times. With that being said, I talk to a lot of kids my age, kids of all kinds, all races, ethnicity, culture, and both sexes. I believe I have a good perspective on what many 14-year-olds think, which is one thing adults can't give. From the kids I've talked to, they think that the policy shouldn't have been passed. Why did the policy even need to get passed in the first place? I didn't hear students complain at school about anything of this matter. This was even hidden from parents. My question is this necessary for students or is adults pushing this agenda on us? Why would the school make a change for this, like this, for 5 to 10 kids that makes the other 1,000 feel uncomfortable and unsafe? This doesn't make sense to me. Having someone of the opposite sex change in the same room as you or use the same bathrooms as you was not appropriate. This shouldn't have a place in school. If you are saying that you want to make a safe space for everyone and you think this is making kids feel safe, it's not. As a 14-year-old straight guy, this makes me feel unsafe by the possibility of being behind closed doors with girls who identify as boys. I feel there are a lot of problems that could come up because of this. For instance, a girl possibly seeing my penis, which is unnatural and not normal. I was taught to respect girls, my own body, and have integrity. Another problem that could arise are false accusations. What if this girl says I said or did something that I did not do? How am I safe in that? There's no protection plan in place for those who are falsely accused. It is known among students that kids have abused these so-called rights. You're making it so there is a protected class of students. I've seen it myself and it isn't fair. Kids will bend the rules and take advantage. That's what some kids do. And with no rules and no protection plan, for all of us, this will happen. Why is it so important for us to decide our sexual orientation at this age? Why is this being forced? Shouldn't we be more focused on our education? I'm more interested in being properly equipped for my next steps. Sexual orientation and gender identity doesn't belong in our schools. It shouldn't be the focus. I believe that these topics should be discussed as a family with our parents. If I could go to the counseling office and change my gender without parental consent, how far can I go with that? Where are the standards? As kids, we need trusted adults to guide us, not to confuse us more during already hard teen years. Being a kid is tough right now. This stuff is just making it worse. As a 14-year-old boy, I still very much trusted my parents to lead, guide, and direct me. Anyone who tries to deny me of that is untrustworthy in my book. In case you haven't noticed, we don't feel safe, and if that's what you were trying to achieve, then you failed.
Okay, Gino Ract. Did I say that right?
Hello. Good evening. I'm a student going into ninth grade at the junior high school. I wanted to speak today about the policy that allows non-biological males into the male bathroom and non-biological females into the female bathroom. As a student who is being directly impacted by this policy, I believe my voice needs to be heard. Before I continue, I wanted to say I'm not against anyone. I have friends that are a part of the LGBTQ community, and I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is this policy that allows for trans kids to go into their non-biological bathrooms. I, along with all the students I have spoken with, think that this is not okay. The policy is meant to include and make everyone feel welcomed, but it does the opposite. It discriminates against students who are remaining their biological gender. I have talked to countless other students from a range of ages, and all have the same opinion, that this policy should not be in place. It makes many students uncomfortable and creates an unsafe space in bathrooms and locker rooms. There have been multiple cases around the country that have kids getting harmed because of policies like this. For example, in Oklahoma, a 15-year-old girl is brutally beaten in the girls' bathroom by a transgender student. Another example is in Riverside's Martin Luther King High School in California, where a transgender student was reportedly entering girls' locker rooms and showing his genitals. Videos were also captured of him getting into 2 fights in 1 week, the first of which was with a small-built female student. I would never want things like this to happen to anyone, but I especially don't want this in my district. This is not a safe solution that allows for everyone to fit in. It discriminates against people who are not trans and can lead to physical or sexual assault. Maybe a gender neutral bathroom along with a boys' room and a girls' room would be a better solution. Many students feel the same way about sports. Allowing boys into girls' teams and vice versa does not make sense and once again is dangerous. This is seen and backed up by cases like what happened to Peyton McNabb. She was hit in the head by a ball spiked by a trans member of the opposing team. A transgender or a neutral team, a neutral bathroom, and a neutral locker room would solve all the problems your policy creates. All the evidence I have provided shows why myself and many in this district take issue with this policy, and I believe I have presented a fair solution that should be considered. If you are attempting to make everyone feel included and safe, why ignore all the students upset with this policy and not change it to a policy that makes everyone feel safe and happy? Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Hope Taubinger.
I am going to be very, very brief. I am very disappointed, or should I say disgusted, that this school has come to the determination that they are going to allow this to happen. And the thing that really makes me mad is that neither me nor my husband knew anything about this from the school board in any fashion. No email, no phone call, no nothing. We heard about it through the news. And as far as I'm concerned, that is not communication. I am appalled to hear that this school is going to do what they say they are going to do. And I feel like my words are not being heard at the right time. It's too late. There are so many people out there that feel the same way I do. And I choose to speak now, and it's too late. I cannot understand what people have come to the conclusion that this is correct. I don't have a speech in front of me, and I don't want to take even the full 3 minutes because it's not worth my time. I am appalled. And I already thought you had a transgender bathroom.
Okay, Douglas Stano.
Good evening. My name is Douglas Stano, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm a taxpayer and a resident of the North Syracuse Central School District. I want to congratulate the new board members and encourage all board members to read, reread, and read again the district's mission and vision statements. These statements lie the foundation of what the board is ultimately here to do: provide a respectful, diversified learning environment for its students, all students. So I'm going to read them to you because I think they're that important. Mission statement. The students, resident, and staff of North Syracuse Central School District will work collaboratively to ensure a respectful and diversified learning environment. Our collective focus is to provide educational experiences and opportunities that inspire students to reach their individual potential as productive citizens. Now, your vision statement. Our schools and classroom are safe, welcoming, and inclusive, where all students are valued and supported. We remove learning barriers by researching and implementing practices that support students academically and emotionally on their path to graduation. I normally watch the board meeting via Zoom, but was in attendance last meeting on June 26th, and I have to say I'm concerned with some of your comments and actions that I normally wouldn't hear via Zoom, but they're clear as day when you're sitting in the same room. There are clearly board members here that don't get it, and there's ones that do. And I'm here to just remind everybody that you don't just represent the town of Cicero, or the town of Clay, or the town of Salina. You represent everybody, period. I'd also like to address policy 5311.8 titled Student Gender Identity Policy. It's 4 pages. It's very simple. I'm confused on why anybody would vote negatively against this policy. I want to make sure I'm very clear. I overwhelmingly support this policy. And I think Mr. Farfaglia said it the best. We're not taking away anything. We're protecting things that everybody's assured. Things like being able to change your clothes in peace, if you choose to, without being bullied. I wish this had been a policy when I was in school 30 years ago. This would have protected me from bullying, period. And I'm a straight white guy. So we want to make sure everybody's included. This policy empowers students to stand up for themselves and provides definitive accommodations for assuring students are supported with dignity, respect, and further assures that there's diversity inside the district. In closing, I'm reminded of the expression, when we know better, we do better. This district is incredibly diverse, and doing what is best for the community, which you represent, is not always easy. I wish you nothing but the best in the upcoming year, and I look forward to seeing your progress as a board. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Board of Education Committee reports. The chair is not here right now, but we have a policy. We don't have any committees yet. There's a policy on the agenda today, though. Okay, so they met. Yeah, no, that's okay.
The policy that's on the agenda came from the previous policy committee meeting that was not added at the last board meeting. It got left out.
Okay, superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Farfalia. Again, with the school year ending, summer school at North Syracuse Early Education Program started last week, and they had a wonderful first day. Summer school for other students started today. I know Mr. Leahy was down at Roxborough and some other locations, and everything looks like that's running well. I wanted to just comment on, I ran into a parent whose child went to the CHIP camp that we ran at the end of the school year, 27th, 28th, 29th. And the one thing that they said, they had a 13-year-old that was a good student and really wasn't as engaged. And they said that their son had a phenomenal time at CHIP camp and is really thinking about some other things, and just stopped me at the store and said that just thanking the district for offering that opportunity. One of the other things, we are still working on hiring the Director of Fine Arts, trying to finish all our interviews, and hopefully that will be finalized soon. And at this time, again, it's the start of summer vacation, so kids are involved in camps, and we'll give you more updates and follow-ups as things progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles. Board of Education comments, concerns.
I would like,
Mr.
take it away. All right.
Seniority rules, I guess.
I would apologize for being redundant, but there is no being redundant when I say this, that trans lives do matter. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Anyway, comments? Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple things as well. I would like to say I support the direction that the board is going in, as the board does in everything that the board is doing, which is a very comprehensive list of things that the board does, which is made to be transparent. But I also would like to say that I'm proud to be joining a board that respects the student population that it is serving. And it's a public school, and the public school serves everybody. And I'm thrilled that we're serving everybody, and hope that we can move on from, the hateful languages and rhetoric that has plagued our country for over 250 years. And that's about all I have to say.
Any other comments? Yes, no? All right. Seeing none. Okay, routine action items. I need motion to consider the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 26th. Motion, Mr. Crabtree, second from Mr. Marizio. Any discussion, comments on those minutes from the last meeting? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. And a motion, please, for consideration of classification and placement of students in home instruction programs as recommended by the Home Instruction Review Committee. Motion, please. Motion, Ms. Segru, second from Mr. Marizio. That is before us. No discussion, all in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Declaration of marketable and non-marketable surplus, a motion, please. Motion from Mr. Blood, second from Mr. Moody Woosick. We have that before us. They looked all non-marketable when I looked at them today. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. That is carried. Acknowledgement of a gift, a motion to place that before us for the North Syracuse Early Education Program. Motion from Mr. Moody Woosick, second from Mr. Marizio. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you, and that is carried. And the one policy that came to us, a motion to place that before us, please. Motion from Mr. Moody Woosick, second from Mr. Ludden. This policy is on acceptable technology device and internet, email, and telephone use, which was reviewed on June 20th by the committee. Any questions, concerns? Nope, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. D, acknowledgement of gifts, the NSCF grants, North Syracuse Education Foundation. Motion place that before us. Motion from Ms. Zagru, second from Mr. Moody Woosick. Those are before us. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. An acknowledgement of the impartial hearing officer that we appointed for Part 200 regulations of the Commissioner of Education. Motion, please place that before us. Dr. Kramer, second from Mr. Ludden. Any questions, concerns? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Instructional personnel
Mr.
report A. Yes, sir. You want to?
I would like to separate this into two votes. I would like to vote separately on the 3 administrative transfers. One to the high school, one to Lake Shore, and one to Sister OL. I would like those removed and voted on separately. Thank you.
Yep, let me just see exactly where those are so we can group. No, we're separating them out. I just want to see how they're identified. Okay. So what I'd like is a motion to consider personnel report A minus the 3 administrative transfers. If I could get a motion for that first. Motion, Mr. Ludden, second from Mr. Marizzi. Okay, we have personnel A before us, minus those 3. Any discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, those are carried. Now, the 3 administrative transfers that you see on personnel A. And you mentioned, could you just, for me, just mention they were the,
Okay, so 2 phys ed teachers
Okay.
are being switched, one to the high school and one to Lake Shore. And then the other one deals with the transfer completely from Cicero North Syracuse High School to Cicero Out and Cicero High School.
okay, thank you.
An administrative transfer, you know what that is, okay? And it's not voluntary.
All right. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, that's a motion, put that before us, and then a second. We have the second already? Second from Mr. Herman. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? I think I said all in favor of carrying those. But did you want to vote for that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was confused at. Everybody just did all in favor. If I saw any kind of, split, I would have called then for a roll call or whatever, but while we revote that, I just want all in favor, just to see, and we have, okay, passing those 3 that we pulled out, that we're looking at separately. Okay, we're looking at those 3 separate from personnel A, which we already passed. My assumption is, and I want to put words in your mouth, I do know Robert's rules. I did that. So my assumption is you pulled those out because you probably wanted to vote differently based on what you said. So everybody, we have 7 who just voted yes. Opposed? We have 1, yes. Okay, so we have 7-1. That's, okay. We okay? I'm sorry. Okay. No, I that's what we're supposed to do here. This is fine. And you made it clear what you wanted to state there in your opposition. Okay. Personnel report B, there's only 1 item on there, but a motion, please place that before us. Motion from Ms. Zagru, second from Dr. Kramer. That is before us. Questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. And administrative personnel, C, a motion to place that before us, please. Motion from Mr. Crabtree, second from Mr. Ludden. That is before us. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. She's right. I want to congratulate Sarah here, Ms. Jones. She'll be the principal at Gillette Road. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I want to say that I've known her as an administrator over at Smith Road, and she's going to do a fantastic job at Gillette.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I do not have, we did the executive session before we had a personnel item, and so I don't believe we have any other unless there's a board member that thinks there's a need for executive session. You want to state that now in the purpose? I see none. I would ask for a motion for adjournment. Motion, Mr. Maurizio, second from Mr. Moody Woosick. Any discussion on adjournment? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much.